better?
Hey,
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. It's
Oh, look at you and your
been
setup. It's fantastic. So
so
you're becoming a media personality now.
no. I'm distracting myself from disasters.
I know. Oh my God. Well, I've had a bit of a win today. My book went on sale in the UK and I'm just hovering outside the top 100 on Amazon. And I'm
That's
like two
so
spots
good.
away from getting a bestseller flag. So I'm like, watch, refresh. Anyway,
That is amazing. Now,
it'll be nice.
this book, which book has launched in the UK?
So One Summer in Santorini.
Yeah.
It's my previous book, but my next book's coming out a month today. So they've discounted my first book to kind of, drive people towards the next one. And then the third one's coming out early July. So boom, boom, boom. All happening.
Yeah. Do you think that people who have been indie publishers or self-publishers in the past, because we all know you've got a lot of experience before you would linked up
A little bit,
agents and
yeah. I
publishers,
had a couple books out. Yep.
that kind of thing. Do you think you're going to have an advantage during, what are we calling it? The apocalypse?
Yeah.
If there was a lockdown.
The lockdown.
If there was a lockdown.
I think a lot of people are kind of trying to figure out how to spend their time. I mean, we are on the cusp of making the decision to self-isolate now. My mum's just cancelled a trip across from Perth in a few weeks. So, there's only so much Netflix you can watch. And I think people are actually picking up books in droves. So yeah, I do think this is a time if there's anyone out there who hasn't yet self-published and they were just kind of thinking, like they're getting close, the manuscript's in good shape, they've got their cover, and now's the time. Like get on that bandwagon, be quick about it, because you want your book out there. People are looking, and it's such a supportive community. The indie author community is really supportive, but also the whole writing community, I think, is. And in Australia, we've got just like, there's hundreds of us just all supporting each other and lifting each other up and retweeting and sharing on socials and reviewing each other's books. And I think, it's a wonderful time to kind of come together online, because that's all we can do now. And absolutely. I would say, yes, push the button. It certainly was the launch of my publishing career was indie.
If we're still in the same situation in 2 months or 3 months, because we don't know, and I don't know, I haven't read news today because I've been too busy talking to people. I don't know what the latest thing is, but how are we going to keep the enthusiasm that's there right now going, the momentum?
I think that's a really great question. I actually see that we are going to unfortunately see more cancelled events, more the things that we do outside of the home for recreation. I think we're going to be seeing a huge drop in those sorts of activities and events in the coming months. So I mean, the reading community is vast and wide and read widely. So I think this is kind of our time to shine. I consider myself a reader as well as a writer, I don't know. I mean, it's never really gone away. But I think that this is a time when it will shine as an activity, something that people can do. I love that we're having this engagement online. We're not able to meet in person. And that's what we're doing. I had a nice call with my mum today and chatting with my sister in the UK. But other than that, that's what I'm doing, is I'm reading. So I don't know that it's going to die down. We don't know what's going to happen. I think life as we know it is going to be changed for the next few months through to maybe a year, until there's a vaccine and we can all travel freely and do what we're doing. But I just think it's like a snowball, it begets itself. So we need to kind of keep the conversation alive. We need to be talking to our own communities and promoting reading as much as possible in each other's books.
And traveling through books, because one thing you've got is a lot of travel and multiple locations in your, not only, I know it's in the titles, but I know there are more there's more travel than you can even glean from those involved.
Yeah.
And when people can't go anywhere, there's nothing like reading about another place instead. That sounds like I'm advertising your book, but it's just genuinely a thought that I had.
I think there's a lot of joy in reading fiction, regardless where it is, because you're kind of escaping into another world, someone else's world or mind. And you're right about the fact that at the moment, most of us have to be armchair travelers. So travel fiction, which is kind of seeing its own resurgence, I think is going to be something where people can just escape to, my first book's called One Summer in Santorini, but it's around the Greek islands, and the next book is a set on a coach tour of Europe, so there's lots of locations there.
So many locations.
The book is like Hawaii and London and Sydney and New Zealand. So yeah, I'm passionate and love travel, so
and you've got all the experiences
vicariously myself and find and I read a lot of travel fiction writers too. So I read Mandy Daggett and Julie Kaplan and Lindsay Kelkin, people who take their characters off to wonderful destinations. But I think we might see a bit of a surge in the subgenre.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. I know my grandma, she's nearly 94, who I've been FaceTiming with, same, because she kind of trying to keep contact. She seems a little oblivious, which is great. But she's always, like, her whole life, when she wasn't able, she actually doesn't like traveling that much herself because she was forced to a lot. So ever since she retired, she's read everywhere that she doesn't really want to go, but she loves to read in a book, and it's much safer. It's perfect.
She's kind of my perfect reader. Actually, I think the oldest reader that I know about is my partner's grandma. She's 89, turning 90 this year, and she's read my book, and she's very excited about the next one because she's in lockdown at the moment in Minnesota. So, yeah, I think romantic fiction, and I actually blogged about this today, is, there's this big question around romantic fiction, is particularly if it's contemporary. Should we be writing about the coronavirus? And my answer is no. I'm not going to be writing stories.
It's not very romantic.
I'm just going to pretend that we can all travel and meet people while we're traveling and fall in love. So
all I can think is bodily fluids right now. Someone was talking about school graduations and things that should be cancelled because they're designed to exchange bodily fluids. So it's like certain things.
I mean, it just changes so quickly. I was traveling for work just over a week ago, and now we're on lockdown. So, yeah.
Wow.
It's going to be the new normal for long enough, I think.
Yeah.
And what about you? How are you going now that your book's out in the world? That's very exciting. Congratulations. You're getting feedback and you're getting early reviews and things.
I know. I find it all a little bit squeamish. But yeah, it should have been out 28th of April, and then. So May launch. It's going to be an online feeling launch, I think, because I don't really know. I was just at the stage of booking a bookstore event. So I will ring them tomorrow probably and say, what are we going to do? Should we just pencil that day in case something magical happens? But I don't know if it's a good idea to start booking people.
Yeah,
it is tricky. That is tricky online.
That is tricky. In fact, an author friend in the UK, she's doing her book launch at the end of March online now. So it's kind of like a Facebook Live, I think it is. So maybe there's an opportunity to do that. Giveaways, have a chat, invite friends. So yeah, I'm rethinking too. And my day job, I work in adult learning. And I work in a small team that's kind of on the cutting edge of online education in higher ed.
That's right.
Australia, and we're getting, knock on the door from our colleagues across the world. Everyone needs to move online. We need help. We need training. And I'm like,
you're going to be busy.
So I've kind of been thinking, I've been doing a lot of online meetings and for a long time now. And I think that might be our way to go for the next 6 months.
I think so. I mean, I just thought, basically, and I didn't even know how to do this time yesterday. I didn't know how to do this, but luckily Mike does a lot of has always done a lot of online learning. And so he had access to all the software, and he's like, this is probably your best bet as for reliability and for quality. And we tested a few things. And then I thought, well, now all of a sudden I've got things open to me I've not had before.
Love it.
And we can share stuff, like just us. And I really hope the festivals and conferences come up with their own proper solutions in terms of people getting paid for their work and buying tickets to things that are streamed or whatever, so that there's like still that official body of promotion and industry to help everyone keep their jobs. And I think that would be great. But this is the same undergroundy movement that we've always had. It's just gone video and gone. But it's better than just wallowing.
I agree. I agree. The pendulum swings back and forth, but I'm on an update today. But I have a trip booked to the UK in June, July. It's 6 weeks. I'm taking 6 weeks leave from my job, but it looks like I'm not going. The Romance Novelists Association has their 3-day conference in early July, and the HarperCollins Author Party is in early July in London. And I was like, I'm going this year. I'm probably not, but I'm really hoping that the conference does go ahead in a virtual capacity. There's not been a decision made yet, but I have family there, and essentially they're saying that if the government's plan goes ahead, they will see the peak of the virus around mid this year in the UK. So yeah, I'm probably not going. It is what it is. And I was going to do a research trip up to Edinburgh because my 5th book, half of it's set in Edinburgh, and I've been there, but I wanted to kind of go back and get a refresher. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll set it in New Zealand instead because I know New Zealand better. I've been there more times. I'm like, okay, I can just do that, look back over my travel diaries and blog posts and stuff, and like, okay. So she falls in love with a New Zealander instead of a Scot. You have to pivot.
You do what you can. Oh my goodness. My sister's supposed to be moving to Scotland this year. She just got a job up in Aberdeen. So I don't know how that's going to happen. She might have to delay on that one as well. And my daughter's ski trip, hilariously, given that Peter Lyer goes on a ski trip and my 15-year-old was going to New Zealand, not to meet a lovely man and fall in love because she's 15 and I want her to come home, but to go on a school ski trip in June, July. So I expect that isn't happening because we haven't heard yet. But if they're going to have to do 2 weeks quarantine, that's the end of the trip.
I know. Well, that's what I've been thinking. It's like, well, the people I want to see in the UK are actually high risk, so I'll be off in a hotel room for 2 or 6 weeks on now. It's really seeming unlikely at the moment. Anyway. Yeah. But how it's going to affect fiction is really interesting. And one of the things I blogged about is I'm sure that there are people who, romance authors who are like, write, and they're like this, just writing. I'm like, okay, so it's self-isolation or imposed isolation is with your, soon-to-be ex, your frenemy, your best friend who you've slightly attracted. Like, is all of these meetings is just going to be around, we're stuck together for 2 weeks.
I know. But that's just, and I'm sure
it's mainstream of subgenre of romance.
Yeah, as long as they've got toilet paper, we'll be fine. I'm going to have to keep the videos short too because my laptop's been crashing from editing the one I did with Kay.
No worries. It's been great to talk to you.
Did you have any... Oh, God, you know what I wrote on my question list?
What?
It was like, do you need toilet roll? And do you scrunch or fold? But I think we're not going to ask those questions.
That's hilarious. Well, that was a good ad campaign.
It was obviously
I am a scruncher. Scruncher. But as far as people who are considering the indie publishing route, I think it's a fantastic way to go. You learn a lot. You learn a lot about the other parts of being an author, which is the marketing and the publicity side of things. It's a fantastic community of people to get involved in, and you'll find that traditionally published authors are really, really helpful because, as the tide lifts, all boats lift. So, if good fiction, whether it's published traditionally or independently, is all good for fiction. I'm not talking about non-fiction authors. I'm sure they've got their own thing going on and they're amazing too. But
what does go on in
regards
non-fiction?
to fiction, I think, the genre authors are just so supportive and helpful.
Yeah,
So you probably experienced
absolutely.
the same.
Yeah, totally. And I just think it's a great time for those, you know, if there is any sense of divide between self-published indie authors, traditionally published, for that to just stop
Yeah.
being such a big thing. And now, you know, it's a really good time for a little bit of mutual respect and love.
Oh, absolutely,
Share
absolutely. And I
again.
felt that when I, was on one, in one group, and I feel it now. And I always will raise my hand to help anybody who I can.
Yeah,
Somebody
you would.
contacted me today, and I'm like, I don't write YA paranormal. So how about I connect you with this author who does? And so try to make connections. But I think on the whole, we're a very generous community. I think we know that there's not a finite amount of readers. Readers read, if they like a
Yeah.
genre, they read across it widely.
They just want more and more of the same.
Yeah, they want more.
Yeah. Yeah. Hungry. And now they're hungry and at home and stuck.
Hungry, at home, and bored, and on the verge of killing their loved ones who are driving them crazy.
Yep. Oh no. Yes, absolutely. Well, hopefully this is not our last chat, because I didn't want these to be one-offs, because I could never say everything I needed to say in one chat, because that's just silly. So, but we will catch you next time. And when you have news, which I'm sure will probably be in about an hour or two if you're going to hit the top selling lists and things.
Great to talk to you, Anna, as always. And yeah, keep us posted on your book launch too.
Thank you. I'm going to wave. Hey.
The number you have dialed has been changed.